Hi, everyone. I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother, and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel on YouTube. Spirit teaches of going within 74 Enlightened Soul. And I'm also live on my Facebook page, my channel. I always recommend, suggest, and I really encourage you to read the description of my YouTube channel, Spirit teaches of going within self, to get a better understanding of what it is that I bring forward on my channel. So I use my everyday life, my own life experiences. I scroll through TikTok and find out, what's the latest gossip, what's the latest of what's happening, what have you, and we look into different things. Okay, I even looked into George Washington and his connection to my sixth great granddaddy. It led me down a really strange path. And about a year ago, I was talking to my ex-husband with regards to some say Rickon, I call it Rickon, people say rice. Okay. Today we're talking about what castor beans have been used for. I mean, you can't freshen my breath. Now, it's I have castor oil right here. Okay, I haven't used it yet. Okay, and the reason I haven't used it yet was for the fact that, like, what I found out with regards to rice, but it's different because has anybody ever heard of ricin? Okay, Rickon, what have you, also castor beans. I looked into it. I even have like stuff with regards to George Washington because of how they said that he died. Now, this morning, what brought me to this topic today was this morning, my ex-husband come down and he said, "Did you did you castor beans with rice in?" It's like, dude, that's not something that I didn't already tell you. Okay, not being rude, but it was that part, some people will say, well, they'll always go and ask somebody else. And to my ex-husband, that's much the same as what you did to me, was I told you almost a year ago about rice, and even sat here in my living room with someone else, and we were talking about it. Now, a lot of people don't realize with regards to the beans, rice, uh, castor beans, okay? Now, I know that there's somebody in here trying to shut me out because castor oil is very beneficial, okay? I have it in here, and, people will say, like, with regards to natural herbs and what have you, they'll tell you, "Oh, go to your doctor." Your doctor don't know anything about it. Your doctor don't even know a whole lot about the medication that they're prescribing you. So, see, the thing is, a lot of natural remedies, they will tell you not to take them because they will contradict with theirs. So that's why they demonize natural stuff, because natural stuff is less profitable. You can grow castor beans, but the stuff that they put in your medicine, well, you can't do that yourself, but you can use home remedies. And that's what our ancestors were using before they brought in these synthetic drugs. And I'm not saying that some of the medication that they have is not beneficial or life saving, but it's that part of integrating natural medicine into what you perceive your mainstream medicine, but they will demonize natural medicine, which that makes no sense, but only to their pocketbook it does. Now, if you read about rice and Rickon, and this is going to be a topic too, because if you see the connection between COVID-19 and ricin or Rickon, you will see with regards to the signs and symptoms of the poisoning, of, you know, the flu. Like people will tell you, like, you got a flu, run to the doctor. You got a cold, run to the doctor. Why are you doing that? Seriously, why are you doing that? Your body has its own natural immune system, but you jeopardize that immune system by going and getting and putting something into your body that is going to cause more harm in the end. You want to take your pills, you go take your pills. But that's the part where everybody is forcing everybody else to do what they do because they don't want to step out and use something that is actually healthier and more beneficial to the body, opposed to causing the body major harm. But they'll demonize natural medicine, and doctors will even use natural medicine, but they'll say, "Oh, well, they're mad." And somebody who uses natural medicine, they're told they have to do this, like a disclaimer, and say, "Oh, it's not an alternative to your modern medicine," but your modern medicine didn't exist when natural medicine worked because our ancestors knew how to put it together. Rice and a lot of, let's say, witches, warlocks, your military will even use it. Okay, I have it here. I know that got touchy when I said about your military will even use it. So where did I get my information from? CDC. So there's someone in the room that really don't like me talking about this, and that's too fucking bad for you. You must be a pharmaceutical person. How's your profit coming along? I don't understand how they can demonize natural medicine because, I'm going to say it. The modern medicine creates drug addicts. And it does. But I'm not a doctor, but, everybody thinks if you're not a doctor, then the people got to be stupid. No, I know what I experienced from being on medications and what I've been experiencing since I got myself clean of them. So CDC, believe me, right here. Right there. I don't want to hold on my lap because there's going to be some mom here that ain't going to like what I got to say. Okay. Ricin. This was supposed to put on September 6th, 2024. Ricin is a natural poison that can harm the body. Signs and symptoms of ricin poisoning depend on whether ricin is breathed in, swallowed, or injected. If you were exposed, get medical care. But see, the thing is, medical community, and it was 11:11 on the timer, your medical community are not taught this. So what could be ricin poisoning or ricin poisoning could appear to be a food poisoning, a flu, a cold, what have you. Okay. And you don't like what I got to say, don't be on my channel. My channel's not for everyone. You'll like me, hate me, love me, loathe me. You know, I'm going to piss you off. But the only reason why it's going to piss you off is because, you know, truth hurts, especially the ones that don't want the truth to be exposed because they are a big part of, they are the bigger part of the problem. Oh, shit. What I see, what I like this out of the ordinary. Oh, shit. Ok. Se tu nunca te isso, dale, la vedrai, non coi. Okay. So, like I said, I say to you, go into your doctor, okay? Ask the doctor what they know about ricin, freaking poisoning. See what they tell you. Because that would be the same as the doctor back in 2019 when I asked him about heart arrhythmia, and he told me that heart arrhythmia is not an actual diagnosis. And then in another sentence, he said, well, there's many types of heart arrhythmia. You just told me that heart arrhythmia wasn't a diagnosis. So why should I believe any other fucking thing you said? That's the thing. A doctor, not all, because if the doctor does not allow their patient to ask questions, you're not a very good doctor. Because see, patients are allowed to ask about their health. But most doctors will get their nose at a joint. If you do, that's the same as a lawyer. If you question a lawyer for whatever reason, or you bring something forward that you know, they'll get their panties in a bunch too, because they figure we're professionals. I understand that. But this is it's my situation, it's my questions, it's my health. So you have every right to ask it, but they will deny you that. And they will say that you are a problematic patient. No, because they diagnosed me with conversion disorder. I call it the bullshit disease. So Alan Abash, you can take that disease and cram it up your ass. Not being rude, but you know, I've heard other patients say that your theory don't work. So the background for ricin is a poison found naturally in castor beans. If castor beans are chewed and swallowed, the ricin that comes out can cause injury. Okay. So think of it back in the the European settler days. Okay. And I will be honest, a lot of the loyalists were using that to take the lives of many people. A lot of my information comes from spirit. It comes from my ancestors. And it's like, you don't want to believe me? Don't. But go look into things yourself instead of believing what your mainstream wants to tell you and put in your face. You know, you can go in and people will ask the same questions that everybody else asks. So you get the same thing. But when you ask the question differently, you're going to get the answer. And it's not going to be a mainstream answer. It's going to be the answer that they don't want you knowing to be the truth. Because if somebody doesn't want you questioning something, there's something wrong with that. Cause injury. Ricin can be made from the waste material left over from processing castor beans. Now, you have to, in order to do that, you have to know what you are doing. Okay? Like, I mean, to like with the castor beans, you have to know how, like, if you're taking the ricin of the beans, you have to know what you're doing in order to do that. Okay, so it's more of a chemist thing, and very few people know how to do it, but people in power know how. Okay, ricin can be in the form of a powder, mist, or a pellet. It can also be dissolved in water or weak acid. It is stable under normal conditions. However, it will not work if temperatures are over 80 degrees centigrade, 176 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So that's why I say the people of power know, because they are the masters of the illusion. Okay, to keep things hidden. And I know that TikTok freezes my channel because it could be moving at a rapid rate, and then all of a sudden it just stops. See, I know they watch. They watch us everywhere. And they don't like people like myself because we are awakened souls. We are the ancient spirits. And you may think that we look a little, out to lunch and crazy. I didn't learn these languages anywhere. So where is it found? Castor beans are processed throughout the world to make castor oil. Ricin is part of the waste mash produced when castor oil is made. Ricin has been used in experiments in medicine to kill cancer cells. I told my ex-husband too that, like with regards to cancer, ricin has benefits, but it's knowing how it's done, the amount that's used. See, your mainstream will say, that's bullshit. You have to say that this is for entertainment purposes only. Go tell fucking CDC that. Because it's not for entertainment purposes only. It's for knowledge. It's for you to question. Ricin has been used, okay, to kill cancer cells. Then have something there that, of course, a mainstream is going to say no, because, they have to keep everything in control and say, here, go take this pill. Here, we're going to put chemo in we're going to use chemo and we're going to radiate your body. So we're going to burn your insides. And don't tell me that's not what you're doing, because you're fucking right, it is. That's the same as electroshock therapy for a mental health patient. Instead of doing your job, you want to fry their brains so they don't realize that they're more powerful than you, and they know the fucking truth, and you don't want others to know it. So you got to fucking try and prove them. In the 1940s, the U.S. military experimented with using ricin as a possible warfare agent. In some reports, ricin has possibly been used as a warfare agent in the 1980s in Iraq. It is also the that ricin has been used more recently by terrorist organizations. What do you think is happening right now? It's said, it's inserted, it's rubbed on your skin, it's a powder, it's a mist. What's happening in the air? So we're going to get to the symptoms. And whoever's at my throat right here, would you like me to help you with that? So, hey, this is CDC, but people will say, oh, well, yeah, all these organizations, they're this, they're that. Not all of what they say is to cause harm to people or manipulate people. It's a system that will tell you one way or the other. Okay, because the system would say, oh, that's horseshit. That's fucking bullshit. You're spreading misinformation. That's misinformation. No, a lot of the time, your leaders and your ones in power are the ones that are spreading misinformation and telling you that people like myself are when, with all the respect, but they don't deserve none. They're the ones killing people. They're the ones dividing people. They're the ones hiding the truth from people and telling people that, like I said, people like myself should be in the loony bin. Well, if we should be in the loony bin, then you should be in fucking prison because you drove us that way. Your ignorance. So in 1940s, and when was When was World War II? I just heard like 38, 39 to 45, right? And Donald Trump said, oh, we won the war. Fuck you, did asshole. What, because you started poisoning people? Weren't they injecting people? You called it a Holocaust. I read something that there was an attack on Donald Trump's life and they were using rice. And I guess they were giving him a taste of his own medicine, huh? Ganito ko rin mo siya lakadaya suroy. Oh, don't say Trump! Kasayang your horn! Hindi ko na patikiya suritiam. And then most recent, and then in the 80s, in the Iraq War, wasn't the states against the Iraq, like the Iraq War, and then the terrorist attack on their own people. You're saying chemtrails. What the fuck do you think chemtrails may be? Pese todo mesela. Vissuto curito risina moi. How it works. Ricin works by getting inside the cells of the person's body and preventing the cells from making the proteins they need. Without the proteins, cells die. But people will not realize that you complicate things and it's this simple. You really like they'll tell you they tell you they're putting petroleum in your food, they're putting it in your body lotions, they're putting them in this and that. Well, that makes you sick, okay? But you know, what is cancer caused from? Breakdown of like something wrong with cells, right? So you're going and you're putting everything in your body, you're putting it in your mouth, you're putting it in your body, but we'll get to the health benefits of actual castor oil. Because there's an upside to things and there's a downside to things. See, your doctors are not educated, they're programmed. Without the protein, cells die. Eventually, this is harmful to the whole body and death may occur. So we're also like, we're going to get to, your first famous president, George Washington. I don't know how long today is going to be, but we're talking about casserole rice and it's used for. We'll talk about like with regards to someone George Washington and how he really died. We'll bring forward about COVID-19 and how you think it is the flu. Yes, things are airborne, so sit with that. Your chemtrails are airborne, right? Your military, your terrorism. You can't smell rice, but most other chemicals you can. Small particles, right? It's like a dust, a mist. Signs and symptoms. The major symptoms of ricin poisoning depend on how much ricin someone was exposed to and how they were exposed. Many organs may be affected in severe cases. Okay, so if it can go through the air, it goes through mist, you go into the malls. And anybody ever really notice that when you go into a confined space like malls or hospitals or anything like that, you feel worse going in there than what you did when you weren't in there? I'll be honest, like some of your government at the beginning of this was actually giving you a heads up. They were telling us basically to stay inside. Wear masks so you can't breathe it in. But see, why they didn't come out and just be honest with the people? It was because some were trying to use it as a weapon on their own people. But you won't believe it, right? Even after I told you that in the 1940s, the US military experimented with using ricin as a possible warfare agent. In some reports, ricin has possibly been used as a warfare agent in the 80s in Iraq. The ricin has been used more recently by terrorist organizations, but you won't believe me on that, right? More recently, that would have been since what, 2019, 2020, and onward. All the different Delta virus and this and that. I think they said now there was like 19 different variants. What the different strains of Ricken or ricin poisoning? The ventilation. You're already like, what do I see? Why death could happen within 36 to 72 hours, depending on how much ricin someone was exposed to and how they were exposed. So that said, death can happen within 36 to 72 hours. Wasn't that what was happening to people who had COVID-19 and others who never had COVID the whole time? COVID was around, but then they got the vaccine and all of a sudden they started getting COVID-19 all the time. Seriously, some people are so into the like, oh yes, it's you swear by it, but you lead yourself to your own death because of stupidity and ignorance. hey, people are telling you. Like a woman on here I've seen, and she was saying that Tylenol came out in the 50s. Well, it came out in 55. And after Tylenol came out, cases of autism did increase. So it may not have been the original cause of autism, but it has actually contributed to more cases of autism. Don't like that? What do you think? What do you know? You got no education in this stuff. No, I have common sense, and I know how to fucking read, and I know how to observe. Observe. May not know how to speak all the time, but hey. That's grim. Sometimes I'm too honest to my own demise. So that could happen within 36 to 72 hours, much like what they had with your COVID-19. Police say, don't like me? Good. You can go right back out my channel the same way you come in. I'm not telling you have to be here. I'm not telling you to believe this stuff. But what I am saying and suggesting is you might want to open your fucking eyes instead of telling everybody else that they're fucking crazy. This has been known knowledge for centuries to millenniums. Only it's been hidden from sight. Do you know what the apocalypse is? Because the apocalypse is actually the unveiling of the truth. And because the truth is being unveiled, people don't want to see it. So you start fighting with one another. There's your civil war. Civil war has always been here. They're just trying to increase it by bringing in all this different stuff for people to be fogged with instead of realizing that it is stuff like this that is the leading cause of your fucking problems. Hey, Donald, there's your fucking witch. Gesticuleta nuestra? No, I don't like a pompous ass. Whether he is right about a few things or not, he's a fucking control freak. And he takes credit for everything. So what's your QAnon? You're still waiting for that, right? You're the one that says, glorify me, glorify me. Oh, this lady, she gave me credit. And the peace, the Nobel Peace Prize. You fucking asshole. She should take that Peace Prize and she should cluck you over the head with it and make you go to sleep for a few days. Maybe you'll wake up with some sense, common sense, and lacking in, you know, ego. You got the witch and the fucking warlock. Hey, mother effer. All right. You don't speak foreign language. And you don't want anybody else to either. Garatotto di sicuro. Effects of ricin poisoning depend on whether ricin was breathed in, swallowed, or injected. And that's what I just said. Go. Yeah, go. 1 second, please. Next, please. We'll stand in line. Here, ma'am. We need you to give us your sleeve, please. Take your sleeve out. Okay. Here. This might pinch a bit. Oh, oh shit. This might pinch a bit, man. And you might feel a little ill afterwards. There. Just hold your finger there for a minute and come back in 6 months and get your next one. Oh, and don't forget, come back in 3 weeks so you can get your flu shot here. That sleeve. Oh, and before you go on your trip, make sure you get your vaccine. And if you're feeling ill, contact your doctor. Some people will be in denial of it, but I'm pretty sure I know somebody who died from the vaccine. But people will be in denial of it. So injected, swallowed, and breathed in. Okay, the mist. Your sprays doesn't. Okay, now I understand why Donald Trump said about go like sarcasm and saying telling people go drink some bleach or what have you. Okay, don't do that. Look at all the writing on those things. How many of you have actually read that? That's Lysol. Not use it because it hurts to breathe. I have used it. Hard surfaces and fabrics. Okay. So somebody said that it had on here. And look at it again. See, it's so fucking full. It's so small that even a magnifying glass can't really see it. So I imagine people can't. So we'll go in and we'll look in Lysol.ca, but not right at the moment because this here is what I wanted to show you. It is a disinfectant, lemon citrus, ready to use, cleaner, deodorizer, fungicide, big words I don't even fucking know, which makes it approved to approval for use against COVID-19. How many people use this stuff and have breathing problems afterward? Seriously, there's certain people who can't handle perfumes. Okay? So that there says, approval for COVID-19. Seriously? Another selling point, right? Just because for that alone, having COVID-19 on there, do you know how much sales would increase because of it? Go use some fucking soap and water. Okay. So there's your breathing in and swallowed. It can be put in a powder form. And don't people say that on certain foods they find there's like a dust film on them? Your pesticides. What's actually in the pesticides? Because if ricin is going to cause that to happen to people, then just imagine what it's going to do to animals and insects. See? Ganito mo siya lakisioy. My dad said that back in his years when he was younger, they were using chemtrails then too, and that was after World War II. Ganito po niya, insecure sila kanayan. So, breathing in ricin. Now, I want you, while I'm saying this, I want you people to sit with this and really sit with it and think back to what they said the symptoms of COVID-19 was. Seriously. You want to tell people that they're full of shit when it comes to the vaccines and COVID-19. You just remember this. Breathing in ricin. First symptoms of ricin poisoning by breathing in may occur as early as 4 to 8 hours. It may occur as late as 24 hours after exposure. Ain't that what they tell you with regards to the flu? And they tell you that COVID is a flu, right? Like, think of it this way. All of the illnesses that are just like coming up and coming back that were gone. All the injections they've been using. And people say they're not forcing people. Yeah, they are. They're taking away their free will by taking away their choice and saying that if you don't have this and you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't work. You have family members on each other because they don't get it. It's not part of, when people get sick or your children get sick, why are you screaming at other people for it? Why are you blaming, because people will blame God? Why are you blaming God? You're the one lining up. heart check. And you'll tell us that we're right out there. I took one. And the reason why I took it, first, it was for a stupid reason, because I didn't want to get it. I was told, hey, if you get it, we'll build you a sweat lodge. Well, I got it, and I never got my sweat lodge, but that's fine. Because I shouldn't have said that I would do it for that. And then I wasn't going to do it. After that, I wasn't going to do it. And then my ex-husband, he just didn't, like, he was just coughing and everything like that. And I used to go into asthma and stuff. So I went and I called going there. I didn't want to go. It was like, take one for the team. If anything happens to me, well, hey. So I went in and I sat there and I cried. And I could hear it in spirit. She's scared. Because I kept saying they're coming for people like me. It wasn't a paranoia. Because I went home. My arm hurt. Sitting in the back room, in the back area by the kitchen. All of a sudden, my fan, the noise from my fan, it was debilitating. It was like, holy shit, my mind felt like it was going fucking bonkers. And I went out and I was like, I'm trying to run away from myself because it's like, I can't get this shit out of my body. I can't get it out of my body now. I'm looking at my ex-husband and I said, something's not right. I said, call the ambulance. I'm going. And I just started going down. And then my body started flat thrashing on the ground. And I mean thrashing. My ex-husband, he was there. He wasn't very helpful. It was just like he was just watching what was happening. And then he took my arms and he folded them here because it was just like I saw. It was like I was there, but I wasn't no longer there. And he had my hands like this, like a dead person. And then all of a sudden, what ended up happening was my body started jolting like somebody had taken the paddles and put them on. And it started jolting like the paddles were making my heart start again. People can laugh. I ended up going to the psych. They ended up taking me and putting me in the psychiatric unit. And I told them that I was having a reaction to the vaccine, that I just had the vaccine. I never went in that again. But it stopped my heart. But you won't believe that, right? Because I wasn't at a hospital and a doctor didn't say. Oh, I see that. So 4 to 8 hours occurs as late as 24 hours, much like what they say with regards to your food. But, here, maybe you should tell your doctor needs to get educated. Go ask your doctor about rice and liquid poisoning. See what they say. Within a few hours, the following may occur: difficulty breathing, fever, cough, nausea, tightness in chest. Okay? So that's in the first few hours. So sit with that. Is that not what they told you with regards to COVID-19? But you'll block this and you go, that's not true. Not true. That's not true. Eventually, symptoms may worsen into heavy sweating, from the fever, fluid building up in the lungs, making it hard to breathe. Is that not what happened to COVID? Weren't people hospitalized because of that happening? And they were saying that the fluid was building up in their lungs. But you'll run from this, right? You'll really run from this and say, that's not true at all. Go tell that to fucking CDC. Diagnosed by X-ray or stethoscope. So COVID created fluid. You had to go in. People had to get on respiratories and everything like that, and they were shipping them out and things like this and what have you. Blue skin. Blue skin could be caused from, lack of oxygen. When I was in Alberta, and I couldn't breathe and everything like that. Like I was having trouble. I went and I bought myself an oxygen checker. Maybe you should get one. So let's check. So 98.72. So my oxygen level is at 98. Okay, there are 95. Let's try the other hand. (97/61). Okay, so your oxygen. Okay, low blood pressure. Okay. Your blood pressure drops, right? That's what happened for COVID-19 too, correct? Okay, let's check the blood pressure. Okay. So Holy shit. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to hit the start button. Oh, let's hit the start button. I'm checking my blood pressure because it's saying that with raisin, the blood pressure. So my blood pressure is pretty good. 101 over 53, pulse of 67. See, when I was well and I took that, blood pressure kind of ran low. So low blood pressure. See, I should be opening it up and cross-referencing with COVID, which we'll do that. Directo Torissimo. Okay. And it's from CDC too. Okay, so symptoms and signs and symptoms of COVID. Okay, fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, which it said, they're just wording it differently, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, new loss of taste or smell, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea. So let's go back to ricin. Okay. So in the first few hours following may occur difficulty breathing. That's together, fever together, cough together, nausea together, tightness chest together. Eventually, symptoms may worsen into heavy sweating. That's big time fever. Would build up in the lungs, making it harder to breathe. Diagnosed by X-ray or stethoscope. Loose skin, low blood pressure, respiratory failure. All these symptoms can lead to death if you know you have been exposed to ricin and have trouble breathing, medical care. How do people know if they're being exposed to ricin if they're told that it's a fucking flu all the time? Oh, you have the flu. Here you go. You have pneumonia. Go take this pill. Seriously, instead of telling everybody that they have pneumonia or a cold or a flu or something like that, how about you do a fucking test for ricin? Oh, wait, you won't do that. But why? Something to hide? Or are you lacking in knowledge and you call yourself intelligent? This is a word to the so called intelligent. Maybe you should go become wise. So if you don't know, like, and they won't check it. So that's what I say. Go into your doctor and ask your doctor if they know about ricin. If you're told you have COVID, actually say to your doctor, how about you check me for ricin poisoning or rickon poisoning and see if they even have a fucking clue what you're talking about, and then pull it out. But you go shove those things up your nose so you can test for it for COVID. Do you know what's on those things? Because I'm sure the fuck they're not going to tell you. And they're shoving them up your kid's nose too. Oh, you might have COVID. You might have COVID. People didn't die from COVID. They died from ricin poisoning. Swallowing ricin. If ricin is swallowed, first symptoms usually occur in less than 10 hours. Sounds a lot like food poisoning, right? Yeah. You know what that? Oh, now they're moving the channel again. So swallowing ricin, Ricken. If ricin is swallowed, first symptoms usually occur in less than 10 hours, just like, food poisoning. Symptoms include vomiting, diarrhea, maybe bloody, severe dehydration, low blood pressure. Other signs or symptoms may include seizures. Well, that's, when I had the vaccine, that's what I experienced. But they said I was faking. This is you're faking. Go fuck yourself because you're not a medical professional. Because you know fuck all about your job. And you fuck know hardly anything about what it is that a person goes through and experiences. That's why you have so many damn specialists. And neither one of you work together on anything. Much like your governance, much like your, to serve and protect people. Other signs or symptoms may include seizures, blood in the urine, liver, spleen, and kidney failure. Much of what was happening. These symptoms can lead to death. Skin and eye exposure. Ricin is unlikely to be absorbed, taken in through normal skin. Touching ricin powder or products may cause redness and pain on the skin and the eyes. That's that's the powder, that's the dust, that's the itchiness, the rash. How many of you had seen a really strange rash on your body these past 5 years? Just say it, because who knows your body better than you? Because it ain't a fucking doctor. You're the one that lives in the body. Exposure. Ricin poisoning is not contagious, and accidental exposure is not likely. However, castor beans and ricin can be swallowed. You can also be exposed if you come in contact with someone who has ricin on their body or clothes. Not much the way they say that you spread your flus. Seriously. They were saying that on George's Island, the people over there were dying from the weather. No, people over there were dying because they were being poisoned with ricin, ricin. That was the easiest way to take the life of another because it could go undetected. Ricin, ricin, can be made into a partially purified material or into a terrorist or warfare agent. this happens, if that happens, ricin could be used to expose people through their air, food, and water. Holy shit! My timer was all ones. Yes, I know, yeah, chocolate. This is the spirit to spirit. So if you think that I'm doing that to you, hey, I know that they work through, spirits work through your electronics, much like they work through you. That's what I was saying. 1978, Georgy Markova, a Bulgarian writer and journalist who lived in London, died from ricin poisoning. Hey, the British like to use it. And if people don't think I know how I look, I'm looking at myself in two separate cameras and I'm fucking feeling it. He was attacked by a man with an umbrella. The umbrella was made to inject a poison ricin pellet under McGruber's skin. Oh, 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 oh. Get it? Do you get it? Or are you going to go line up and say, here? Oh, don't forget my newborn baby. I am going to say that. Oh, right, they give it to me. They give it to me in the air. Now, I've seen most doctors give baby injections in their buttocks. Some may give them to me in the line. Here, you better do that. Oh, and don't forget, your school-age children, they gotta make sure they have it or they can't attend school, which, that's probably beneficial if they can, because they're not teaching things properly anyways. So if they're doing it for the benefit of the people with regards to cancer, then why aren't you telling the people what you're doing? It's because you're not doing it to help people. It's called a genocide. And it's not just one group of people. But it does target a lot of the people who don't have a lot of wealth. Because they were even bribing people and telling them, hey, you go get your vaccine and we'll give you vouchers for a fast food place, which they're putting rice in your food there too. That's double dosing. Oh wait, that's not double dosing. That's overdosing. But hey, I don't know how to read, and well, I know how to read pretty well, and I can use some fucking common sense, and I can put two and two together. Are you ready to do the same? What to do if you are exposed? Evacuate or shelter in place. What did they do? They shut everything down and you had to shelter in place, right? Get fresh air by leaving the area where the ricin is. So, like I said, you feel like shit when you go into the hospital, which the hospital is supposed to be a healing place, but you feel like shit. You go into a mall, you feel like shit, but when you come outside, it's like, I'm glad to be out of there. But then they use music as a frequency to keep you fucking trapped in there. Just saying. If ricin was released outside, move away from the area. If ricin was released indoors, get out of the building. So they get you in the building, they get you out of the building. If you think you were exposed, now listen to this. This is ricin. If you think you were exposed, so let's go see COVID first. Oh, went to seek emergency help. Okay, where is it? Okay, I remember COVID. They said, one person could go to the store. Okay, but when you got home, you were to remove all your clothes, put them in a plastic bag, either wash them in hot water or soapy water, or cook them and hop right in the shower. Okay, so what to do if you were exposed? So if you've been exposed to rickon, take your clothes off, wash your body, and get medical care as quickly as possible. If you swallow rice, do not force vomiting or drink fluids. Call 911 and tell them what happened. Okay, so you have, if you swallow, you have the symptoms of food poisoning and COVID. If you get it on the skin, you get the irritation, fatigue, redness, and then it's breathed in and injected. Okay, so take off your clothes. Take off the clothing as quickly as possible. I tell you, once you get home, get your clothes off. Cut clothes off instead of pulling it over the head. Maybe they even told people that. If you are helping others, avoid touching unsafe areas. Wash your body. Wash any ricin from your skin with lots of soapy water, much like I said with COVID, right? Washing with soap and water will protect you from any chemicals on your body. If your eyes are burning or your vision is blurred, rinse your eyes with clean water for 10 to 15 minutes. You know how many get that the dry eyes and the burning sensations in your eyes? You're getting blurry vision. I wonder, would you have would you have blurry vision? It's like certain things, right? How's that make you go blind? Carrots, they remove the toxins of racing. Could be detoxification. If you wear contacts, remove them and put them with the dry, the dirty clothing. Do not put the contacts back in your eyes, even if they are not disposable contacts. If you wear eyeglasses, wash them with soap and water. You can put your eyeglasses back on after you wash them. Throw your clothes away. After you have washed yourself, place your clothing inside a plastic bag. Avoid touching unsafe areas of the clothing. If you can't avoid touching unsafe areas, or you aren't sure where the unsafe areas are, wear rubber gloves. You can also use tongs, tool handles, sticks, or similar objects to put the clothing in the bag. They told you don't touch clothing. Try to avoid touching clothing. Tie the bag and then put the bag inside another plastic bag, throwing away your clothes. This may help protect you and others from any chemicals that might be on your clothes. You know, people say about a specific mist. I said, you said about chemtrails. Will the chemtrails fall, right? Makes me wonder how much is allergies and how much is airborne ricin? How much is it maybe when the local or state health department and emergency team arrive, tell them what you did with your clothes. The health department or emergency team will arrange for further disposal. Do not handle the plastic bags yourself. That sounds a lot like radiation too. Radioactive risk. People really need to RNA. Seriously. Symptoms of liquid poisoning, and this is what it says on here, because the symptoms are caused by failure to make protein, which isn't that what they say your body's failing to do? A lot of time when you become ill, what is it? It's your body's failing to produce protein by a failure to make protein. They may take anywhere from hours to days to appear, depending on the route of exposure and the dose. When ingested, gastrointestinal symptoms can manifest within 6 hours. These symptoms do not always become apparent within 2 to 5 days of exposure of ricin. Its effects on the central nervous system, adrenal glands, kidneys, and liver appear. Ingestion of ricin cause pain, inflammation, and hemorrhage in the mucous membranes of the gastrointestinal system. This is what happens when you're said that you have COVID. Gastrointestinal symptoms quickly progress to serve to severe nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and difficulty swallowing, digest, dysphagia, hemorrhage, cause, hemorrhages causes bloody feces and vomiting blood. The low blood volume caused by gastrointestinal fluid loss can lead to organ failure in the pancreas, kidney, liver, and GI tract and progress to shock. Shock and organ failure are indicated by disoperation, weakness, dizziness, okay, urine production. Symptoms of ricket inhalation are difficult for those caused by ingestion. Early symptoms include a cough and a fever. It can cause fatal pulmonary edema and respiratory failure. Pulmonary edema. When skin or inhalation exposure occur, ricin can cause an allergic reaction to develop. Didn't I just say that about, how much is actually allergies and how much is ricin poisoning? See? No, but I'm stupid. With all due respect, I'm not the stupid one. This is indicated by swelling, edema of the eyes and lips, asthma, bronchial irritation, dry, sore throat, congestion, skin redness, skin blisters, wheezing, itching, watery eyes, chest, tightness, and skin irritation. That's what people are experiencing. And then you go and you take a reactant or whatever, Benadryl, whatever the things that cause Alzheimer's and dementia. Fuck! Listen, Anna! Lucia! So, please excuse me if I get fed up with hearing people talk about fucking COVID because I want to take that diagnosis and shove it right up fucking doctors' asses because you might want to fucking educate yourself when it comes to ricin. Lucia, Nuria! I just said what's causing your stuff. The mother's pregnant and you're getting that stuff in? Yeah. Of course you're putting it into your baby. Your baby's going to come out sick. Next. This might pinch a little. There's no needle on it. See that? It's a syringe for taking medicine. I use CBD sometimes. I learned how to transmute things because I go into my own body and I can move it. I create my own laser beam inside. Treatment. An antidote has been developed by the UK military, although as of 2006, it has not yet been tested on humans. An antidote has been developed by the UK military, the UK, the United Kingdom, the British. What did I say? Why would they give you the antidote of something they're doing themselves? They have the antidote for themselves. They say they're not doing it on humans, not known humans. Qu'il est prêt. Este total schlepping. You know, people are screaming for a savior, but the savior, the people that are here with the Savior, for the Savior, as you say. They're right in front of your face, but you're too busy doing this. I don't hear you. And this. That's not true. An antidote has been developed by the UK military, which you say your military is trying to protect you. If they're trying to protect you, why are they holding this from you? That's 20 years ago. That was in 2006. Here we are in damn near 2026. And it has not yet been tested on humans. As of 2005, another antidote developed by the US military has been shown to be safe and effective in lab mice injected with antibody-rich blood mixed with ricin and has had some human testing. Monoclonal antibodies are under scientific investigation as a possible treatment for ricin poisoning. In 2006, okay, let me get this straight. In 2006, the UK military developed an antidote for ricin poisoning, but said they didn't test it on humans. And in 2005, the US military shown it to be safe and effective in mice injected. So that's already 20 years ago. And you say your government said, well, they're putting rice in, so why would they give you, seriously, why would they give you an antidote to something that they're putting out there to harm you? Why would they help you? They want to make sure that they have it for themselves. It's like that song, you're praying and don't find somebody new. Nobody says wait for anybody. Symptomatic and supportive treatments are available for ricin poisoning. Existing treatments emphasize minimizing the effect of the poison. Possible treatments include intravenous fluids or electrolytes, airway management, assist ventilation, or giving medication to remedy seizures and low blood pressure. Well, that sounds a lot like what they do to you for COVID, right? So they're telling you that it's COVID, it's a flu, and you're passing it on to each other, but they're the ones that's actually putting rice in. Are you awake yet? Or, do you need to set your alarm again? किसी को like emotion like that thing. If the ricin has been ingested recently, the stomach can be flushed by ingesting activated charcoal. I have activated charcoal here, or by performing gastric lavage. Survivors often develop long-term organ damage. And is that not what's happening to COVID patients? Is that not what's happening to vaccine patients, vaccinated people? It doesn't take genius, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, it doesn't take a scientist to put two and two together. People have said there's no sense trying to help to wake people up. You stop. How can you live with your soul? Yeah. Ahora sí hay. Somos como solidaridad. Yes. Okay. That's where I said certain things sometimes each side is beneficial. Vaccination is possible by injecting an inactive form of protein chain A. So that, yeah, I know. It's like how injecting, like if they can inject it into you, are they doing the opposite to help you? Form of protein chain A. The vaccination is effective for several months due to the body's production of antibodies to the foreign protein. There's another one of those things every month. In 1978, Bulgarian defector Vladimir Kostov survived a ricin attack similar to the one of Georgy Markova, probably due to his body's production of antibodies. When a ricin lace pellet was removed from the small of his back, it was found that some of the original wax coating was still attached. For this reason, only small amounts of ricin had leaked out of the pellet, reducing some symptoms but allowing his body to develop immunity to further poisoning. Much like, okay, when we were younger, Gen X, baby boomers, even millennials, we would deliberately, as a child, be exposed to chickenpox, measles, what have you, so that we could build that immunity to it. So just okay. Somebody's trying to shut me up, and I'm going through it because I'm trying to word like phrase it to word it. So it was actually meant to expand at a rapid rate. But oh, when they insert it, it's supposed to explode right away. That's much like the pain. Oh crap! Oh shit! Gross! Ah! Ugh. Ugh. Damn, fuck. Ugh. It's like, yeah, I remember when in 2020 when I got shot in the head with whatever fucking light it was. I was telling him, don't you make me feel human pain. It's like, yeah, hey, motherfucker, I'll make you feel human pain. So, because it was only leaking, because it was only coming out in small amounts and they were able to catch it in time. Do what you will with this information, but I think you should take it to heart. The seed sources, the seeds of Ricus communis are commonly crushed to extract castor oil. As ricin is not oil soluble, little is found in the extracted castor oil. The extracted oil is also heated to more than 80 to 80 Celsius to deter any ricin that may be present. The remaining spent crushed seeds, called variously the cake, oil cake, and press cake, can contain up to 5% ricin, which, while the oil cake, coconut, peanuts, and sometimes cotton seeds, can be used as cattle feed or fertilizer to, or the toxic nature of cashew beans prohibits their oil cakes from being used as feed unless the ricin is first deactivated by autoclave. Accidentally, accidental ingestion of ricin cake intended for fertilizer intended for fertilizer. It goes on your food. Right now, someone's at my guts. It's like, yeah, Borisima Aniki Saraki Soraka Kusiana. You stomaka! Okay, intended for fertilizer has been reported to be responsible for fatal ricket poisoning in animals. Isimota Turiki. Busholakatai Surekatamuta. See, they're really going at my guts hard, right in here. And do you know that's where they actually, you won't believe it, but it was Mary Magdalene that they stabbed in here. Because that's where she was shooting, because she was pregnant. Yep. It's like, and luckily she had gifts. Deaths from ingesting castor plant seeds are rare, partly because of their ingestible seed coats and because some of the ricin is deactivated in the stomach. The pulp from 8 beans is considered dangerous to an adult. Ribert and Hurd have written that close examination of early 20th century case reports indicates that public and professional perception of ricin toxicity do not accurately reflect the compatibilities of modern medical management. They used it, ricin, for warfare, but they do nothing about it in their feet. They're putting it in your fertilizer. And where's your fertilizer go? It goes in the ground, right? Or your food, right? And then you ingest it. That's right. Like everything goes through the system, right? You call it a bloodstream. Because hey, harm someone is for the bloodstream. What is the bloodstream of the earth? The water, the rivers, streams, even your springs. Because you ever notice that a lot of springs are downhill from farms? Farms should not be allowed around a water source like that. We moved before moved in this place. At the other place that he had been living in, the farmer went up on a hill and he put a chemical on there that killed the whole field. And there was a river down from it. He put his silage and his manure about 12 to 15 feet from a well, my ex-husband's well. They contaminated all the wells, including their own. And they contaminated the brook and the river. You tell me, cierto. See, someone don't like me right now, and it's like it's standing right over my head. Que la tocó, sí, no, mata, I had to kill her. Yes, okay. Most acute poisoning exposed in episodes in humans are the result of oral ingestion of castor beans. 5 to 20 of which could prove fatal to an adult. Swallowing castor beans rarely proves to be fatal unless the bean is thoroughly chewed. This man here, he didn't die from a sore throat. He died from ricin poisoning. So if people sprinkle it on, the survival rate of castor bean ingest is 98%. Survival rate of castor beans is 98%. In 2013, a 37-year-old woman in the United States survived after ingesting 30 beans. In another case, a man ingested 200 castor beans mixed with juice in a blender and served. Victim often manifested nausea, diarrhea, fast heart rate, low blood pressure, and seizures persisting for up to a week. Blood, plasma, or urine ricin constructions may be measured to confirm diagnosis. The laboratory testing usually involves immunosphere or liquid chromatography mass. Oh shit, I don't know the word. Although no approved therapeutics are based on ricin, it does not have the potential to be used to treat or of tumors as a magic bullet to destroy targeted cells. Because ricin is a protein, it can be linked to monoclonal antibody to target cancerous cells recognized by the antibody. Did you hear that? Although no approved therapeutics are based on ricin, it does have the potential to be used in the treatment of tumors as a magic bullet to destroy target cells. It does have the potential. Because ricin is a protein, it can be linked to monoclonal antibody to target cancerous cells recognized by the antibody. The major problem with ricin is that its native internalization sequence are disrupted throughout the protein. And if any of these native instrumentalization sequences are present in the therapeutic agent, the drug will be internalized by and kill untargeted non-tumor cells as well as targeted cancerous cells. Modifying ricin may significantly lessen the likelihood that a ricin component of these immune toxins will cause the wrong cell to internalize it, while still remaining its cell-killing activity when it is internalized by the targeted cell. However, bacterial toxins such as the PPR toxins, which is used for discovered, ADA approved treatment for leukemia and pneumonia have proven to be more practical. A promising approach for ricin is to use the non-toxic subnet, allicin, as a vehicle for delivery agents into cells, thus generally increasing their immunity. Oh, fuck, I can't pronounce. Excuse my language. Use of ricin as as adjuvant has potential implications for developing nucleus vaccines. See if many people are dying from certain things. Okay. And I said it at the beginning. There are some medications that do actually help. But there's also what you demonize, which is the natural, the way of the ancestors. So if ricin is used wrong, it kills people. If ricin is used appropriately, it has specific benefits to help people. Stop putting so much ricin in the air and making people allergic, have allergic reactions, which cause them to go get your pills, right? Allegra, uh, Benadryl, Reactant, Clear, or whatever the hell it is. And now they're pushing vaccines instead of actually realizing and going to what's really causing all the symptoms. I'm not saying that there's not other things that exist out there, but I'm saying, like, for as long as they've been doing vaccines, why haven't they been able to come up with a specific vaccine that targets everything? Seriously, it's there. Because if you actually look, most reactions, if not all reactions, are the same things when they do your blood work. You have the same routine things, right? And a lot of the time, those are the ones they check for, triggers. What do you think, Masaya? That's what I say. So many people are screaming because they're waiting for their savior to come. Even if your savior was savior in front of you, help you save yourself, you would still deny that savior. Look in the mirror. And stop demonizing everything and using it to harm others so that you can profit. And then say that you're not trying to profit. Yeah, you are. And you have tried to convince so many people of it. Money's not making you happy because you never have enough of it. So money's not making you happy. You're getting old looking because you can't keep up with your own lies anymore. That's what the aging process is. Like people can say that, I don't feel guilt. Some people don't. But maybe they should for some of the things that they do. One night it was like I was having a vision. It was like I was on a travel vision. And I was in this room. It was like it was a hospital room, but it wasn't because it was more like a ward. And there were a bunch of people in there, and they were in hospital beds, and they were all, I can't even remember how long. And there was it was, excuse my French, it was like a bright yellow acidy vomit that people were throwing up. And it was like, it was horrifying. Like I said, if you really look at certain things, strange sudden deaths, and your first prime minister or your first president was assassinated. And you think assassination is being shot in the back of the head? I think that type of assassination is much like a distraction because while they're using ricin, they're assassinating you because it's behind your back. It's in your face, but it's behind your back. George Washington was killed by ingesting castor beans and chewing them because they were put on his food. So Jefferson, or was it Adams that was? I think they were both in there because in one of them, one of them was in the wheel. Yeah, this is going to Curse of Oak Island right now because George Washington was affiliated with Oak Island because he was affiliated with my sixth great granddaddy because they did farming and they exchanged business and what have you. Did Samuel Ball and Donald McGinnis actually flee from his father, Samuel Ball's father's and grandfather's plantation, slavery plantation? Because what does Donald Trump say about George Washington? Was 79 in 1795, it was said, I believe, then that Samuel Ball, Donald McGinnis, Anthony Vaughan, and John Smith found treasure. And when was it that George Washington suddenly died from a throat infection? You know, Rickon, ricin causes what? Sore throat. So I said before that I believe that Donald Trump and P. Diddy are time travelers. And I believe that Donald McGinnis was actually Donald Trump and Samuel Ball was P. Diddy, if you look at a picture. Because wasn't it 1797 or 98 that George Washington died? Oh, sorry, 1799. So he died in 1799, 4 years after. So 4 years after a said treasure was supposed to have been found. And then 4 or 5 years later, my sixth great granddaddy suddenly died. And I channeled him. Now, his siblings, my sixth great granddaddy's siblings, half siblings, when they were on George's Island, two of his siblings died because they drank contaminated milk that the Acadians brought them. So that would have been more the royalists, right? So they brought the war here. So they were doing race and men. And that was why so many people were dying on George's Island. That's George Washington died in 1799, okay? And when he died, we have it right here. We'll go right up. So it says he went horseback riding or horseback supervising farming activities from late morning until 3 in the afternoon. The weather shifted and from light snow to hail and then rain. Upon Washington's return, it was suggested that he changed out of his wet riding clothes before dinner. Known for his punctuality, Washington chose to remain in his damp attire. I've stayed in wet clothes. He started experiencing discomfort around 2 in the morning, except for help. Enslaved housemaid, light fire. Okay, now, where does it say it? He had 2 wills he got her to bring 2 wills from the study. She got her to throw one in. Washington was bled for the 4th and final time. It was later reported that a total of 32 ounces of blood was extracted during the last bleeding. I think they know how Washington died. So COVID and ricin. So the same thing. It's ricin. You know, you think of in 19 when the First World War, when World War One, same thing happened then, right? It was called the Spanish flu then. And COVID, I don't have the paper. When I was going through it, like a lot of weird shit was going on, and I ended up burning a lot of it. But COVID, when you break it down and you decode it, COVID-19 actually gives a DEA number. What's DEA stand for? Drug Enforcement Agency. And what are they doing? They were enforcing vaccines on the right. And 19. Alien, I look at the alphabet, alien. She's got the one is the A and the 9 is the program. And through rice and poisoning, it's an easy way to keep you sick, unhealthy, whether like it's just a long drawn out. And if they can't do it fast enough, what do? They next. Oh wait, please, I don't want it now. Are you sure? I'm sure I don't want it now. You didn't get it. Why didn't you get it? Because I changed my mind and I feel like it would be, I don't want it right now. I want to know more about it. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with it. And that's exactly how people react. People probably thought that right there, like I was going through a little bit of a thing. Well, that's what it was. To point out how how the conversation goes or went in people's households when they chose to or not to. Does anyone know what sovereignty means? Making a choice by being given choices and not feeling like you're put into a fear state because that's what they did. They created the problem, sent you into fear state, but you say no, they wouldn't hurt us. For some in the beginning, maybe that was not their intentions. See, didn't people say that Putin tried to poison someone? Was it his opponent? What do you think that he was trying to poison him with? Arsenic? That would be detected. They use their go-to poison is ricin because it's easy to get and it's easy for them to just do what they do and it go unnoticed. You can't smell it. It tastes nothing. Do you smell the flu? Can you smell a cold, or do you feel it? What tests do they run to find out if you have a cold or if you have a flu? You say they do X-rays. Most of the time, that's used for, like, if they're checking for pneumonia. Most of the time, you go to your drugstores, pharmacies, you get a lozenge, you drink a cough syrup with alcohol in it. Just saying. And I'm asking, where does that make sense? You're gonna do what you wanna do. But if you're gonna keep continuing to do what you're doing and nothing's changing for you, then stop saying you're waiting for a savior, because you're not listening to it even when it's there. See, people will say they want the truth, they want the truth, they want the truth. When you bring it forward, because it's scary. It's break free from the chains. The Statue of Liberty. She's chained. People say, well, that's the statue of Lucifer. Well, if it's a statue of Lucifer, then I guess Lucifer is a human being. Seriously. Because the Statue of Liberty is actually a woman. Romans called her Lady Liberty, and that was the goddess they looked to. But like, what is okay? What is liberty? Is giving you poisons to keep you down? Well, some like it's a way of coping. We're gonna have this conversation openly. It's like I'm channeling all the open debate because I'll sit here and it's like debate what I say. Sovereignty, when you say the control, being free from the control. Okay, control is where somebody tells you what's best for you and they make your decisions through force or manipulation. That's what with a lot of stuff we're observing here because you're not given choices of something that's not demonized over the other because everybody is like a lot of people just it's easier to make everybody else happy. Don't 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 be different. Don't make yourself stand out. But if you don't make yourself stand out and you're saying about change, then how exactly does that work? By standing out, it's not about all eyes on me, all eyes on me. Standing out is you making the change that you want to see. People will say, I seen a video yesterday of a woman saying about what was it? It was she was saying that people are people on welfare are lazy. Could you please tell me what makes a person lazy? Stress, mental health, physical health. Do you know what's going on in that person's home? Are you helping that person or are you just telling them that they're lazy so you know better than the one that is making them already feel like the way they do, right? How about we do that to you? So the next time you want to tell someone they're stupid or they're an idiot, you might want to lose the ego and actually listen to what the person has to say. So you know who guided me to Ryson and George Washington? My sixth great granddaddy. And you know a lot of people that are in from Nova Scotia. He was probably one of your great ancestors. He would have been your great granddaddy. And to be honest, Sorry, great granddaddy, but you were a man whore. Loved his family. He just, I'll tell you, my sixth grade granddaddy, what I've been channeling with him and the way others have, how he's been channeling to me through others, he's an asshole. And, even the part you think the son was bad, the father was worse. Well, his father was actually a stepfather. So it was his stepfather that was worse. So did you know his biological father? Because it channeled through someone. You think the son is bad, the father is worse. So his stepfather would have been my seventh great step grandfather. It's almost like explaining why he was the way he was. So those are the two spirits that are over at George's Island. He's there with his real father. I can't quite see him and make it there. So it's like when granddaddy was the one who was biting people. Like that's how he might protect himself.
That's why I found that mouse that was like Cannibal Lecter, only he wasn't eating, he was just biting it. This is really fucked up. I honestly, like, for what I know from channeling, seeing, because I know it's him showing. He was looking for his daughter. And yes, yeah, it was like he created a time and he was seeking revenge. Right there, everything was just like, so it's like, was it, like I'm trying to figure out, because when I said revenge, it's like, it's not a revenge. I just heard the word justice. Make things right. That was wrong. So if seventh great granddaddy, the biological seventh great granddaddy, because he was the one that he seen the scalp, and then him and the other. So it was father and son fighting, a part of why we, you know, he found out and he went to see his father, and his father denied him. But was it because he didn't know him? See, because I know that that is for for my ancestors. It's more so at those two, with the father and the son. It's like a dementia. So dementia reacts much like someone who was scalped and still living. So is that the wound of the ancestor? Well, I do know somebody his parent has dementia, and the last name, yeah, it would be connected. Resti emotional criasta che io tu ritki ha tu tu gere resti como su corito tu su da mai su corito che la tu gre amor Cristina ne cre ara tu ku scrivi perché riesce la cotore e cari molto crita na sa crito poi gere tu corito che si vuoi ti sto queste essere tu mai. So when I'm seeing someone familiar to me, I know that it's that person, which I already knew that anyways. Now I understand why I keep seeing them. No wonder you're in my fucking nightmare. Ulit amore si kita anusha kadesia. It's still a totally kumbuke. So it was my it's there's certain things it's my seventh grade granddaddy showing me. Ow! Man, you were breaking bread with them? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go to Vampire Diaries. They're taking me there. The series Vampire Diaries. And they're taking me to the mother, the father, and the son. Said son. Okay. Much like your Adam and Eve story, except this is Michael, and I don't know who the mother is. And then Klaus. Okay. The father is a vampire. The mother is a vampire. But Klaus is a hybrid. Klaus is part vampire and part werewolf, and he transforms. That's the shapeshifter. So that would be the sun would be the shapeshifter. Because it was like son of man, son of God. shifting from physical to spiritual. And that's why I told her, because she said that you can't be in two oceans. Well, go to where the two oceans connect and then be there. Because that would be the same as being able to be in physical and spiritual, the physical body and spirit body at the same time. See, like when they're putting rice and stuff in the air, you have, oh, it's more up to keep people down. It's like he's saying, jumpers is like time travel. Because, I said my sixth great granddaddy, oh, yeah, he was into this stuff. He had a religious seal that matched that. Man, I'd say he was a fucking warlock. Sí, de todo el como caray. Yeah, I know you're. I'll tell you, there is a ship, and it's somewhere around Mahone Bay. So yeah, I do like at Christmas time. I like every Christmas now. That's going to be my story. Like you have that song for the Christmas song. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Well, ran over by. I said run down. Great granddaddy, did you accidentally hit Great Grammy with the reindeer? Oh, my leg's asleep. Um, this is going to be my all-time like. This is my my Christmas story, and it was my 50th Christmas. And it's Christmas morning around 6:30. Just Christmas past, last Christmas. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and I was waking up, and I was looking out my window, and it looked like a plane like coming up from out the trees. It's just the airport over there. And then all of a sudden it come up and it started getting faster. Then it zoomed over. And then it circled like that over my pond. And then it went like that and it was triangular shape. Like it was showing its face. not like this, not flat, but like like that. And all of a sudden through it, it was like a sleigh, 4 reindeer, but they were female reindeer. And there was someone in the sleigh, it was a man in the sleigh, and I seen him waving. And people say, "Well, you were dreaming." I'm like, "No, I was actually awake." And beside it, there was like almost like the shape of almost like the shape of a snowman. And they were on a flying saucer. And I'm there, and it's like, what the fuck? Thinking, what the? And then all of a sudden, I hear my ex-husband coming downstairs, and he goes in, and he looks at me, and he said, "I just heard Santa Claus shuffling around at the roof up there. Coincidence?" Because I didn't say shit to him. I believe I know who Saint Christopher is. Yadadoi noko, yasukutushila dodoi, kisata. My channel's a spirit. So if you're having a reaction, then I guess that spirit is connecting to you. Somebody's watching me because they are watching us. When you think that they are your program, they are your entertainment. To them, you are much better entertainment. Because it's like they'll say fantasy, but people tell you to live in reality. Well, which reality are you saying I should live in? Because there's many fucking realities going on at the same time, only you're not aware of them. But you'll say your reality is the only reality, or if they're not seeing it the way you see it, like this rice thing. Some people say you're not living in reality. That's not happening at all. No, it would be you who's not living in a realistic reality by thinking that's not possible. Because everything is possible and everything has been done. We just repeat it. Some didn't like me saying that we keep repeating it. What do you think history is? I'll tell you, I don't like from where I'm from the perspective I'm looking at things and the way I'm looking at what you class as your modern world. You have CRISPR, right? CRISPR is gene splicing, DNA splicing, right? So you're splicing it with different plants, animals, what have you, right? Right. So now you look at your hieroglyphics.
Oh no, right? Greek is sexy. It's said to be the muscly people, sexy people. Okay. 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 Think of Horus. He's depicted as a bird, right? Bird face. Yeah. So you have the Horus one, the bird face, right? In some, you have the dog face, you have the cat face, but people won't believe stuff like that. Okay, this here's a picture of it. Okay, just an example. Okay, those were like portraits. Okay, so people say that we're still like in the 1500s. Well, you've been brought back. Okay, this is gonna sound really strange. Now, so with CRISPR, manipulating DNA and what have you, and you're even using animals, right? Okay, mating different animals with each other, saying it's demonic. It's a fucked up way of science, is what it is. And the artifacts you're finding, oh, did we devolve or did we evolve? In the time that we're in now,
Okay, because this is more a lot of it, if you look at it, it looks a lot like a modern medieval. People will think I'm right out there, but the way I see the artifacts that are being found and the ancient Egyptians and Greek mythology, mythology, my truth, right? With the depictions of the animal faces and what have you on humans. That was the CRISPR. That's much where you're headed now. Okay. I believe that what you're finding is the future. I believe it's showing you the future of what you have and how it was destroyed. Means that way that those buildings, those pyramids were constructed by you in a future self. I know to some that's really hard to figure out. Some are at some so you're moving through different periods of time because you're being shown different things from those periods of time. And that's how you're going to come to that peace within. But first off, you have to realize that that's what you're seeing. So are you going to destroy what you're moving as with the violence, you're destroying the future. And it was like somebody went from the future into the past. Okay, this is a son out there, but the movie Back to the Future. Okay, so in there, what ended up happening is he took the time machine back in time, right? And then at one point, he took the time machine into the future, and he took the time machine into the future, received Biff, the older version of Biff in the movie. He went back in time and changed the past, which created a dysfunctional. It's like Biff cheated for his fortune. Okay, it was like in that movie when because they perceived him to have the gold in the tower and everything, and utter chaos and like just chaos. It was like he was being idled for the destruction he was creating. Okay, much like we'll say Hitler. See, with many things, um, I I believe we're finding future artifacts, and those are the ones that you're learning. Like if when everybody comes together, that's what you will learn because you will learn from one another. You'll learn the craft, and people will like. There's different forms of craft. You demonize uh, a reader's craft or tarot card reader or crystal person or energy healer. So a lot of people will demonize that because it's something you don't understand. Demonize to dematerialize. It's like giving it no value. And that's what you're doing when you demonize people or you demonize the belief. You dematerialize. You give them no value. You make them feel like they're nothing. It's like basically, yeah, I was watching a video, and yeah, I know, like it's the apocalypse is the unveiling of the truth, so you're going to start seeing things for what they really are. As much as you try to deny it, it's going to keep clearing. Yeah, it's like people got picked on for being different, and then they got resentful. Dice la que tú no decías tu curriculum, Mike. Like you really want to be a fly on the wall? I got a light here that they go to at night. I'll give them, well, I let them go back outside sometimes. I just, sometimes I think the ones with the black butts, they're the ones going back to report everything. I like the ones the green buds. Yeah, it's like the releasing here. It's like a tension that we can put there. So, hey, yeah, you don't have to believe what I'm saying, but I do know it makes more sense. Even if it feels like it does in the body. It's just like, huh? Like it leaves you like, I've never seen it that way before. And I've actually told people stuff and they've said they've never seen it that way. Well, sometimes you have to see things from a different perspective to get a better picture. So with that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave, most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self. Be true to yourself, be kind to yourself. Know who you are. And hey, I just heard keep your chin up, kid. Pobrecito playa. Didn't like that, did you? So have a great day. Bye-bye.